Good evening. Welcome back to the Mistwalkers Everfest set review. And so for our last section, we're going to talk about the generic cards. The carnival slot cards. The card to my right is not a carnival slot card, but in a very important reprinted legendary in this set, Arcane Skullcap, originally from Arcane Rising. So obviously this is your chance to get it. It won't be foiled or cold foiled or anything like that, but just having it's going to be, I think, very important. It's a very good card. It's better than some of the even specialized headpieces for certain classes. So get you one while you can. Alright, the only other generic piece of equipment in the set is Arcane Lantern. So this is the first generic equipment that is for an offhand. Now, this obviously will limit who can use it. As far as two one-handed weapons that are available, or characters or heroes that have access to two one-handed weapons. Your ninja class, all three of them can run it if they wish. Guardian can run it since they have a one-handed hammer. And they can swap the shield, the ramparts of the ram's head, out for the lantern, in certain, if need be. And warrior, if you're running an axe or a Centauri Sabers build. That's it. But this could allow you to basically cut a little bit down on your offensive capabilities, to be slightly better defensively against Runeblade, Wizard, particularly. And there's big reasons that would allow you to play your normal piece of equipment in a normal slot and run this and cut down on a single weapon if necessary. This may not come up now, but I do expect it to come up in the future. Alright, so we're going to go over all the generic attack actions, and all of the items and potions and trinkets from these are all cards that usually were going to come out of your carnival slot in the booster packs. So bingo is a 1 for 5, 3 defense. If it hits a hero, your opponent reveals a card from their hand. If it's an attack action card, it gains go again. If it's a non-attack action card, draw a card. So they are basically going to give you the worst of those two options if they have both in hand. But a 1 for 5 is above curve. It has a higher break point. It's going to take 2 cards to block this. Or a 3 block in a potentially a piece of equipment. So Now, the fact that your opponent in most situations is going to give you the option you don't want can be fine. But there are certain situations your opponent may not be able to give you the worst of those two. And you're going to have some decks that are running Snapdragon Scalers that's basically going to threaten to give this go again. So if they don't give it go again, you're going to get to draw a card and go again. Now, from the wording on this card, the other problem is going to be attack reactions, defense reactions, and instants are not listed on here. Now, I have not gone over the FAQ, but as it currently stands, if they reveal one of those, you get nothing. Yeah, it is an interesting card in a majestic slot, but it's a little more random than you'd rather it be. Alright, fire breathing is the next one. This costs 2, 3 attack, 3 defense, and instant you can pay 1 and give it +1 attack, and you can only activate this while this card is attacking. So I'll be honest with you, this card is way underwhelming for me. It's modal, which is fine. The problem is it already costs 2, and its base attack is 3. Now, so it's going to take at least a yellow or maybe a blue, and at that point you're paying 3 for 4 attack. It's a nice callback to the Magic the Gathering card of fire breathing, but it's at least at this point in time, it's a little underwhelming for constructed play. All right, cash out. So this is a zero cost generic action. Pitches for blue. An additional cost. You destroy any number of weapons, equipment, and or non-token items you control. You create a silver token for each of those permanents destroyed and go again. So from what I can tell right now, this is more of a multiplayer card. Constructed applications as far as CC or Blitz, I don't see it. Right now we know what silver tokens do. You have to pay 3 and destroy the token to draw a card. And for me, it's not worth that. Now, again, ultimate pit fight, multiplayer formats, yeah, that's what this card is aiming for, in my opinion. Next up is KnickKnack Bric-a-Brac. 3 cost, red pitch. An additional cost, you may destroy any number of copper, silver, and or gold tokens. Search your deck for a card with amulet, potion, or talisman in its name. If you put it into the arena, shuffle. For each 4 copper, 2 silver, and or 1 gold destroyed this way, repeat the process. That is a lot to spam a bunch of those cards in play. Again, I think this is more of a multiplayer card. If there is a combo out there that breaks that this card is a part of, that it could break, fine. But currently, I just don't see it. So put this in your ultimate pet fight / PvE box and move along. This round's on me. 1 cost, 3 defense, generic action, pitches. It's a blue pitch. Each hero draws a card. Until the start of your next turn, attacks that target you have -1 attack. Go again. Alright, so this is also a little difficult to judge in 1v1 constructed play. My thought here is that giving your opponent a card on this may make it not nearly as efficient. So it basically, it's going to cost you 1. It has go again, and you're going to get to draw a card too. So, and then the attacks that target you, and if physical attacks are -1 attack. Now, that may be a fantastic ability. Where it's hard to judge here is how much giving your opponent an extra card is going to hurt you. I think in some matchups you can get away with it. In some matchups you probably can't. It's definitely a card that you could build around in an ultimate pit fight format, because you're keeping all the players happy and you're protecting yourself. As of now, I'm skeptical on 1v1 play, how much it will see. But there could be a defensive deck out there that wants this card. Time will tell. Alright, life of the party. 2 cost, 4 attack, 2 defense, red pitch. You may discard or destroy a card you control named Crazy Brew, rather than pay life of the party's cost. If you do, choose all modes. Otherwise, choose 1. Sorry guys, my eyes are terrible. Choose 1 at random. Life of the party gains when this hits. Gain life. Gain +2 attack, or gain go again. Alright, so this being random is going to make things, again, more difficult. Now, blowing up a crazy brew to not pay its full cost and getting all three effects, could be fine. Okay, so you can discard or destroy. So this is a rare, and it comes in 3 flavors, so it's going to be either 4 attack, 3 attack, or 2 attack. Now, is it worth discarding or destroying a card named Crazy Brew rather than paying for it? If you want all 3 effects, then yeah, probably. But otherwise, I don't know if it's playable and constructed as it costs too much for the little gain that you'll get, and you have no control over the gain without Crazy Brew. Alright, step right up and win a prize. So High Striker, so there's 3 flavors of this, all cost 0, and all defend for 2. The next attack you control, the next time an attack you control hits this turn, create either 6, 4, or 2 copper tokens. So, as it currently stands, right now the merchants deal with copper tokens or money tokens and Kasai. As well as cash in. Now, cash in at least lets you draw cards for free if you get to blow up the requisite number of copper tokens. For me, this effect, until we get other effects that deal with copper tokens in a more meaningful manner, more rewards for that, I necessarily don't see these 3 as playable. The warrior cards that are playable do multiple things, including giving additional copper tokens. So somebody like Kasai or Cassie, however you want to say it, the bonuses, she's getting an attack pump and that. Excuse me. So, me personally, I don't think these are very usable in 1v1 matchups at all. Pick a card, any card. Okay. Now, again, this is a rare, cost 0, has 3 different pitch values, 2 defense. Look at target opponent's hand, then name a card. Choose a random card from their hand and reveal it. If it's the named card, create a silver token. And then you get to repeat the process either 3 times, 2 times, or once based on the pitch value, and go again. So right now there aren't a ton of cards that let you see your opponent's hand. So far, we saw Pry earlier for Wizards. Is it Phantasmaclasm from Monarch? I always forget this one. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm getting the right card because I hate it when I don't get it correct. I passed it. Okay, it is Phantasmaclasm. Anyway, those are the only ones. Now, the again, this is low impact. Silver tokens. Right now, they don't. They're drawing you a single card for 3 blue. Isn't the greatest thing in the world, but seeing your opponent's hand and maybe being able to plan out what I can do this turn is. So, it's a toss-up. I kind of like what this card is trying to do, but I honestly do not know if this is 1v1 constructed playable. Alright, next is Smashing Good Time. This costs 0. Next time an attack action card hits a hero this turn, you may destroy an item they control with cost 2 or less. If you've played this from Arsenal, the next attack action card you play this turn gains +3 attack, go again. Okay, so items are obviously different than the equipment cards that we have. So the items are going to be the talismans, the amulets, and the potions. Now, with as many of those cards that are in this set, and the propensity, even for players to play the important ones from Welcome to Wraith, of Energy Potion, and oh boy. I feel like an idiot. I should know these. I should have these memorized by now. I know it's time something potion. Time snap potion. Okay. Beyond those two, you have mechnologists who have items. Dash lets you start with an item in play. So I could see this as maybe a sideboard card, based on if the format has, or your metagame has enough, has enough items that it would be warranted. Having the plunder run pump, if played from Arsenal, is also very good. So also the pump value is also scales down based on pitch value. But being able to blow up an item that costs 2 or less is the portion of the card that we're looking at, because right now there isn't a lot of cards that destroy as items. Most of those are I think the only one is Brute, and then we've got Shatter in this set. So I think this is a meta call, more than likely a sideboard card. Even bigger than that. Okay, so this one has got some special qualities about it. It does not block. It is a generic action, or a generic instant. Costs 0 and has 3 pitch values. Play this only if you've dealt damage this turn. Opt 3, 2, or 1. Then reveal the top card of your deck. If it has attack greater than the amount of damage you've dealt this turn, create a quicken token and draw a card. Good Lord, this card has Ninja written all over it. Kadachi for 1. Play this as an instant. Create a quicken token. Go again. Play Snatch. Pop the quicken token. Things are getting out of hand with this one. Now, this is also one that reads dealt damage rather than hit. So, I'm putting a bolo on this one. You're probably going to see this in Runeblade as well. Because once they take the rune chant damage, you can play this. And it's basically like free card draw, and you have a quicken token for future things. So, I mean, this is going to get out of hand, folks. Yeah, look for this in your friendly neighborhood Ninja or Runeblade deck without question. Beyond those two, it's really going to depend if you're wanting to poke your opponent to death, so that you can draw bigger attacks. But yeah, this is a chef's kiss. Love it. All right, now into the amulets. Amulet of assertiveness, 0 cost, go again. Attack reaction. Destroy amulet of assertiveness. Target attack gains. When this hits, banish the top card of your deck. If it's an attack action card, you may play it this turn. Activate this ability only if you have 4 or more cards in hand. Okay. So does this have a positive benefit? It does. It has go again. It's free. You can you can leave it out on the table until you get set up. Now here's the problem. Requiring 4 or more cards in hand is the tricky part. Because especially as the game goes along and you've taken damage, you're going to have to block some, and more than likely you're not going to have 4 or more cards in your hand. So I honestly don't know how much this is going to be playable, simply based on the restriction of cards in hand. Alright, Amulet of Echoes, 0 cost. This is a blue pitch. Has go again. Instant, destroy Amulet of Echoes. Target hero discards 2 cards. Activate this ability only if you played 2 or more cards with the same name this turn. So, okay, has go again. It's free, blue pitch. Okay, those 3 are all positive. There's no attack and no defense, and that's pretty well the same for all these generic action item cards. The problem, and this is a very big problem, is activate this ability only if you played 2 or more cards with the same name this turn. There's not many heroes that can guarantee that they can trigger this, right? Katsu's probably the one that is going to be best at being able to trigger this. Simply because he can set up a turn where he gets to play an attack in his hand that has combo. And what it has go again, whether triggered or otherwise, and then they can, as long as it hits, they can search the deck for another copy of it, play it next, and then trigger Amulet of Echoes, where they can discard. Now that's that's only a single use case. Beyond that, it's more about being lucky at drawing what you need when. So this is probably getting the heave-ho. Alright, next up is Amulet of Haven Call, 0 cost, blue pitch, go again. Defense reaction, destroy Amulet of Haven Call, search your deck for a card named Rally the Rearguard, add it to the chain length as a defending card, then shuffle. Activate this only if you have no cards in hand. Well, that's a straight up miss. Next. Amulet of Ignition. 0 cost, yellow pitch, go again. Instant, destroy Amulet of Ignition. The next ability you activate this turn costs 1 less. Activate this ability only if you haven't played a card or activated an ability this turn. Okay, so this only activates an ability. So this can be a sword attack. Or a weapon attack, I should say. This one I could see getting some play. Again, Ruin Blade is the obvious spot here. They want a non-attack action. This is it. It has base go again. This has it. And what they can do on the next turn is activate the ability before they start their chain. And then when it gets to swinging the sword, or swinging Rosetta Thorn, or, more than likely that's what it's going to be, the Rosetta Thorn attack's going to be free. Or the equipment action with the suede hides, or whatever. It's going to be a free activation, keeping costs down. I don't think it's game breaking, but all right. Amulet of Intervention, 0 cost blue pitch, generic action item. Go again. Okay. Instant. Destroy Amulet of Intervention. Prevent the next 1 damage that will be dealt to your hero this turn. Activate this ability only when your hero is the target of a source that would deal damage equal to or greater than your hero's life. So, this really doesn't do enough for me. It's only going to protect you from dying to that specific attack. But the problem is, it doesn't block for anything. And if you wanted to stop arcane damage, it's better in your hand anyway. Next. Amulet of Ablation. 0 cost blue pitch. Go again. Instant. Destroy this until the end of the turn. Target attack action card gains. If this would be put into a graveyard, instead put it on the bottom of its owner's deck. Activate this ability only if a card entered a graveyard this turn. Okay, it recurs an attack, or any card really. No, an attack action. So it recurs an attack for later in the game. Having go again helps this card. Is it am I excited to play this card? Not really. I mean, I would rather be really and truly, if some of these game texts were on attacks, I would be ecstatic. But the fact that they're on an item, which I have to play out and hope that I can play and activate this later, and then in the meantime, all I can do is pitch the card because I can't defend with it. Makes it real difficult. So I'm going to pass on this one as well. Alright, Clarity Potion. 0 cost blue pitch. This one does not have go again. But instant destroy Clarity Potion op 2. I think this is an auto include for Wizard. Seriously. You're not playing much on your turn anyway. You play this out. I'll let you set up for your opponent's turn. I don't see the downside. Alright, healing potion. 0 cost, blue pitch. Action. Destroy healing potion, gain 2 health, go again. Okay. Okay. So the gaining 2 health here is underwhelming. The problem that I have with this card is it does not have an innate go again. So you have to play this out, and if you can't give this card go again, your turn's going to end. Obviously, we had that issue with those potions from Welcome to Wraith, and so there were usually sideboard cards in Classic Constructed at best, because their best use was only against certain decks and only in certain situations. Now I actually love the go again on the action, so it refreshes your action point, but yeah, that I want to be Simon Cowell a lot on these. That's a no for me. Alright, Potion of Seeing, 0 cost, blue pitch. Again, instant, destroy Potion of Seeking, look at target hero's hand. Again, knowledge is very important, but this does not have go again when playing it, which and I don't know how much looking at your opponent's hand, where you basically had to take an entire turn off to play this, is worth it. And it's very situational. I mean, this would have to be the last card in your hand. You would have had to have blocked on your opponent's turn. You would have had to play this on your turn as your only action and draw back up. Knowing what's coming is great, but if you're already on the back foot, this is not going to be great. Alright, Potion of Deja Vu. 0 cost. Instant. Destroy Potion of Deja Vu. Put all cards from your pitch zone on the top of your deck in any order. Okay. So, this has some interesting applications. Again, this is your pitch zone, not your, so you can pitch these cards and then put them on top of your deck in any order and redraw them. Now, the problem lies in how often in a game are you going to pitch cards to pay for your turn and then immediately want those cards back in your hand because let's say you pitched 2 or 3 cards and played 1 or 2 cards that turn. You're going to redraw the 2 cards from your pitch zone that you just put on top of your deck, and then the next 2 cards. How much deeper in the deck are you getting? And also on, again, this is another an issue where you have to take a turn off. Barring any tricks or deck designs where you can give these go again, where you're not just simply out of your turn ends after playing it. Now, I really, that I'm not a fan. Alright, Potion of Ironhide, 0 cost blue pitch. Instant, Potion of Ironhide, attack action cards you own gain +1 defense this turn. Now, I'm okay with this card. Again, it's suffering from the same issues that we had previously. Does not have go again. You have to take your turn off to set this up. And then, you're only using it defensively. It's only giving it to attack action cards. It's not giving it to all cards that you control. Again, another situational card that I'm not sure is completely worth the deck slot. For me, if I wanted to play something that gave my attack action cards +1 defense, I would either play Art of War, which is currently, to me, is currently better. Or I'd be playing Amulet of Earth in, an Earth build where I could, use that global bonus on a turn where I needed it, but also could use it for offense. So that's going to be a no for me, dog. Now we've got one that hits the sweet spot. Holy crap. So Potion of Luck, 0 cost. Pitches for a blue. It does not have go again, but we're not really worried about that. Instant, destroy Potion of Luck. Shuffle your hand and arsenal into your deck, then draw that many cards. Okay. So, again, Wizard is a deck that could use this because you are only playing a little bit, playing a few, maybe one card on your turn, maybe. And this lets you do some interesting things at instant speed. Maybe you see a line that you can kill your opponent with, and you don't have the cards, you can go for it. But Guardian is the one that I see this in, and my eyes light up. With the new Earthlore armor, you can play this. You can defend on your opponent's turn. Play this as your only card on your turn. Put a card in arsenal. Draw back up to 4 cards. And then on your opponent's turn, you can pop this, shuffle your hand back and your arsenal back in, draw 5 cards, gain 5 seismic shields, seismic surge tokens, and then block as necessary. And on your turn, play the smackdown. That's where I see this card seeing the play it needs. Combo. Sorry, I was a big fan of Killer Instinct back in the day. Talisman of Balance. 0 cost, 3 blue, or 3 pitch. Go again. At the beginning of your end phase, if you have less cards in arsenal than an opposing hero, destroy Talisman of Balance and put the top card of your arsenal into an empty arsenal zone you control. So while this one's a little more situational, this lets you use all your cards in hand, and if your opponent doesn't have a defense reaction in their arsenal, right? If they've set up for offense on the next turn, wanting a 5-card hand, this card is very reasonable at getting you basically a free card on a future turn. Having go again means you're not losing your action point. And you want more of your 5-card hands if you can get them. Because setting up for those 5-card hands helps you on pivot turns. Or continue to push to be aggressive. So I think this one actually has potential for 1v1 constructed play. Talisman of Cremation. 0 cost, blue pitch. Go again. When you play a card from your banish zone, destroy Talisman of Creation and name a card. Banish all cards with the chosen name from each opposing hero's graveyard. So right now there aren't a lot of factions that have ways to get cards out of graveyards. Obviously there's so tomorrow for elemental heroes, earth elemental heroes. And there's Remembrance that shuffles cards back into your deck. So I don't see a ton of use case for this currently. Could there be a use case in the future? Yes. I mean, the only one that really cares about this card would be Levia, if you don't have a way to banish cards out of your graveyard. But it would be difficult for her to play cards out of the banish zone. There isn't many for her, so. Alright, Talisman of Featherfoot, 0 cost, yellow pitch. Go again. When an attack action you control, gains exactly +1 from an effect. During the reaction step, destroy Talisman of Featherfoot, and the attack action gains go again. Alright, so to me, again, this is too situational. Just not worth it in 1v1 constructed. Now here's a talisman I can get behind. Talisman of Recompense. 0 cost, yellow pitch. Go again. When you pitch a card, if it would gain exactly 1 resource, Instead, destroy the talisman and gain 3 resources. So there are so many decks, so many of the aggressive decks that want to be pitching, they need so many reds to push damage. And they need so many blues to make sure that they have enough to pay for every card in their turn. This card helps balance both of those situations. As it lets you get, because it's inevitable, at some point in a game, you're going to draw 4 reds. And you absolutely need a blue to go something like Kodachi for 1, Kodachi for 1, and some attack. And that's where a card like this comes in. Yeah, again, this is one that I would be looking at, probably will see in some decks. Alright, Talisman of Tiffs. 0 cost, blue pitch, go again. If an opponent would draw 1 or more cards during your action phase, instead destroy Talisman of Tiffs, and they draw that many cards -1. So originally, I misread this card. Originally, I thought if your opponent would draw 1 or more cards, instead they would draw that many -1. Since they have to do it during your action phase, that makes this card much less appealing. At least as currently with the current environments that we have. Next, Talisman of Warfare. 0 cost, yellow pitch, go again. Okay. When a source you control deals exactly 2 damage to an opposing hero, destroy Talisman of Warfare and all cards in all arsenals. Okay. So it's no command and conquer. But this definitely forces your opponent, if they want to keep the card in arsenal, to overblock to make sure that you aren't dealing exactly 2 damage. And as worded, if you have a card that deals 2 arcane damage and they don't use arcane barrier on it to reduce it, it'll trigger there too. Yeah, Vexing Malice, we want to have a word. Again, I think this is environment dependent. Obviously, I'd rather have CNC in my deck, if you can afford those, or if you're lucky enough to already own a playset. Now, this card in Benji, all my attacks are 2 or less, and you can't block them. So, yee. All right, folks. That is the last of the cards from Everfest. You can see what the silver token does. So that concludes our review of Everfest. I appreciate you guys joining us on this journey. Get to brewing. We've got Pro Quests coming, we have the Calling coming, and we have the very first Pro Tour coming in the next few months. The excitement is ramping up, and between the bands, the errata, and the cards in this set, the format will shift. I guess the question is, how good is Prism? How good is Viserai? And where Guardian falls. Until next time, even in Wraith, there is no escape from the tiger.